War never changes. Since the dawn of humankind, when our ancestors first discovered the killing power of rock and bone, blood has been spilled in the name of everything from God to justice to simple psychotic rage.
Propaganda was used in World War I, as in any other war, and the truth suffered. Propaganda ensured that the people only got to know what the governments wanted them to know. In World War I, the lengths to which the governments would go in an effort to blacken the enemy's name reached a new level.
To ensure that everybody thought in the way the government wanted, all forms of information were controlled. Newspapers were expected to print what the government wanted the reader to read. In fact, though this would appear to be a form of censorship, the newspapers of Britain, effectively controlled by the media variants of the time, were happy to play ball. They wanted headlines that were designed to stir up emotions regardless of whether they were accurate or not.
In World War I, the most influential type of propaganda were posters.
Posters can be divided into three categories. 1, to enlist in the army. 2, to buy war bonds. And 3, to degrade the enemy. Come into the ranks and fight for your king and country. Don't stay in the crowd and stare. You are wanted at the front. Enlist today. This poster is an example of the army trying to recruit soldiers from the British. Join the army today.
Edith Cavell was a nurse in Brussels who was involved in a network helping Allied prisoners to escape. This was in violation of German military law, and as a result she was court-martialed for treason, and having been found guilty was executed in 1915. The story, however, was reported in a way that presented the events as the murder of an innocent houser of refugees.
Following her death, the story was reproduced by Wellington House for many propaganda campaigns, both domestically and to the United States. Pamphlets and images depicted her execution as an act of German barbarity.
Soon after this incident, the French shot 2 German nurses who aided German prisoners of war to escape. German propagandists chose not to use this as propaganda. Beat back the Hun with Liberty Bonds. The purpose of this poster is to make people think that Germany is a really bad place. Okay. This poster depicts a German soldier with menacing eyes and bloody fingers, and he is looming across. He's looming across the Atlantic, and the poster is trying to get you to stop him by buying Liberty Bonds.
This poster is another example of trying to get people to buy war bonds, and it reads,
"For your children, buy war saving certificates, and they will live to thank you."
British propagandists were able to use the sinking of the Lusitania as atrocity propaganda, as a result of a commemorative medal privately struck by German artist Karl Goetz a year later.
The British Foreign Office obtained a copy of the medal and sent photographs of it to America. Later, to build on this anti-German sentiment, a boxed replica was produced by the Wellington House, accompanied by a leaflet explaining the barbarism of Germany. Hundreds of thousands of these replicas were produced in total.
The poster on the right shows without doubt the most famous American piece of propaganda, and indeed one of the country's most famous fictive characters. The Uncle Sam character was already decades old by the time the U.S. entered into World War I. This, his most famous poster, was printed in 1916.
The inspiration was taken from poster on the left, a British poster printed in 1914 showing Secretary of State for War Lord Horatio Kitchener. Kitchener died 2 years later when the cruiser he was traveling with struck a sea mine and sank off the Orkney Islands.
I want you to join the army.
Even after the war, British sentiment was strongly against the Germans. This poster reminds its readers that once a German, always a German. It also depicts past German brutalities and has a vignette of
Keep going.
of Edith Cavill's grave and the caption 1914 to 1918, never again.
Once a German, always
Throughout
a German.
World War I, music was a prominent feature on the home fronts and on the battlefield. Most homes had a piano, and at least one member of each family knew how to play it, providing a common form of entertainment and socialization. Popular music therefore saturated the citizenry and reached into all of its corners, forming a great medium for conveying messages. Recognizing this capability, governments often use it as an effective means for inspiring fervor, pride, patriotism, and action in the citizens in order to gain manpower, homeland support, and funds.
Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you and me, every son of liberty. Hurry right away, no delay, go today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to mind, to be proud her boys in line. Over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums come.
Films were also used in World War I as propaganda. Like posters, films were divided into three categories: recruitment films, films that degraded the enemy, and war bond films. Propaganda was used in World War I as in any other war. The truth suffered. Propaganda ensured that the people only got to know what their governments wanted them to know. Sorry, jeez, delete.
Ensure that everybody thought in the way of the government. Freaking, why am I reading it like that? Alright, stop, dude. Stop recording, man.
I like this place.
In World War I, propaganda took various forms, including pictures, literature, film, and music. In World War I, propaganda took various forms, including pictures, literature, and film, and music. Yeah, we're in Mount Everest. Now we're in Alaska. No, I'm just kidding. No, I said now we're... Well, you know... Ow! Yeah, dude, it works. I was like...
Well, we could film here, or you could go onto the bridge and hop over to that island right there. And we can film on that concrete. Come with me.
Alright. Dude,
What?
we're gonna get killed, dude. It's illegal. No. Yeah, there we go, man.